Hello everyone, welcome to Soccer Frontier in Depth. Today we'll be looking at the Shattergun. The Shattergun is a sniper. Oh, hold on. It's a shotgun. It's a shotgun? Oh, a shotgun in the ICA faction, and it will require you to be level 11 to unlock it. It will run you 54,000 K marks. It has a penetration value of 27, a direct damage value of 8 per pellet, and this weapon has a pellet amount of 10, a reload time of 3.3 seconds, and a mag size of 4. For those of you wondering, that is a total damage possible of 80 damage, given that this weapon has 10 pellets. And that is if you hit all 10 pellets on your target at the correct ranges. Each pellet has a projectile speed of 28,000 or 280 meters per second, and the weapon has a movement speed multiplier of 1, meaning you move at 100% of your movement speed with this weapon equipped. Speaking of equipping, this weapon has an unequipped time of half a second and an equipped time of 1 second, meaning you will put this weapon away in half a second and pull it out in 1 second. For the damage falloffs, it is the same with all shotguns, with a falloff start of 10 meters and a falloff end of 30 meters, and the falloff multiplier is 50%, meaning you will lose half of your damage when you fire this thing at 30 meters and beyond. Moving into the more detailed stats, we have a rounds per minute of 48. This weapon is a lever action shotgun, so it's pretty slow to get those rounds out. And given that this is a purple weapon, we'll be using the baseline of purple armor. Now that you're aware of that, the DPS on this weapon is 64, and to the head it will change to 76. For those of you who have gotten this far, I haven't mentioned the headshot multiplier, and that's because it's the same for all shotguns I've covered so far at 1.2. But since this is a shotgun, you're not supposed to be going for headshots, you're supposed to be going for center mass. If one of your pellets does happen to land on the head, it's a good thing because you'll get some extra damage out of it, but you shouldn't be aiming for the head. Back into the statistics, we have a time to empty the mag of 3.765 seconds, a time to kill of 1.255 seconds, and if you go for the head, the time to kill doesn't change. And the reason why is because the shots to kill don't change, and you'll see that when we get into the shots to kill. Surprisingly, the closest thing that we can compare this to is the Bulldog and the Trenchgun, because the Trenchgun is a pump shotgun, so it's closest to the cyclic action. It's also closer in damage, but the Bulldog is also close in damage because of how high its damage is per pellet. And it's also closer to it in terms of penetration value. But for all intents and purposes, I will probably end up comparing this to the Bulldog. When I get to my opinions, I'm going to talk about this, but I want to mention that the Bulldog has 5 pellets and the B9 Trenchgun only has 8. The Shattergun has 10. Remember this when I get into the opinions. But for now, moving into shots to kill, we'll start with the body, and to the body is going to take you 1 shot to the body for common armor, 2 shots for green, blue, epic, and exotic armor. And for headshots, you can one-shot headshot if all your pellets land given against common, uncommon, and rare, and then for epic and exotic it will take you 2 shots. So moving into my opinions, this weapon is insane in terms of statistics. This is one of the scariest weapons other than the Arbiter and a few other weapons in the game like the Phasic. But I'm not scared of those as I am compared to this. This thing reaches out and hurts people. Even if you get the distance where this thing starts doing half damage, it's still doing a lot of damage at those ranges, because 40 damage is still quite a bit. To put this in perspective, if I'm going up against a rare armor, because that's what most people are wearing these days, if I'm going up against a rare chest piece, I'm still dealing 43 damage to somebody at 30 meters. That's still 3 shots to kill. That's insane. Granted, that's if all your pellets hit, but even then, you're still doing quite a chunk to them, even if some of those pellets hit. And as a reminder, you have 10 pellets. 10 of them. The B9 Trenchgun did 8 damage and had 8 pellets for its 10 penetration. This thing has 27 pen, the same amount of damage, and 2 more pellets. This thing is a terrifying monster at close range and even towards the end of its fall-off range. As I mentioned in previous episodes, especially the ones in shotguns, I love shotguns. And this is the one time in any of the episodes I've done that I personally think this thing is a little bit too strong. Don't get me wrong, the Bulldog is strong too, but it's only got 5 pellets. Each of those 5 pellets deals 12 damage, but it's got 5 pellets. It's got the most RNG out of all the shotguns, and it's got very bad spread. This thing has decent spread, which gets even better when you aim on sight. And on top of that, it has 10 pellets, all the more to hit you with, my dear, and has attachment slots. This thing's nuts. Okay, after my opinion tangent, we can move into the build. For the optic, the irons are fine for the range you're supposed to use this weapon at. However, if you want an optic, the holographics are probably your best bet. For the shotgun's magazine, you can choose the extended or the quick draw mag. There is no dual functionality mag for shotguns, but what I would recommend is going for the faster reload. For your stock, getting faster aimed on sight time so you can aim down sight and tighten the spread of those pellets a little bit. Otherwise, pick your favorite. Surprisingly, this thing lets you choose a muzzle attachment. Now, there's no chokes in the game for shotguns, but there is a suppressor you can put on this thing, or you can also reduce the recoil. I recommend the suppressor. For the foregrip attachment, you can pick your favorite. There's not a whole lot of variety here, and it's a shotgun. You don't need to reduce the recoil. You don't really need aimed on sight faster. The rear grip is about the same thing. I would just recommend picking your favorite. And for your tactical slot, there's only one option you have, and it's the good old trusty flashlight. A good weapon can shatter both the mind and the body. This weapon can certainly do that. Have a good day, Prospector. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is going to be my last in-depth. They said they were going to be doing weapon tuning for Season 2 and armor tuning, so I wanted to wait, but I decided I'd finish this video first to give you guys something to sink your teeth into until Season 2. Have a good day, everybody.